Boom, boom, boom.
Welcome.
Happy
We're such
birthday.
that we're total opposite, aren't we, Charlie? Because it's like pure head banging for that
Yeah,
intro, and then
yeah.
we come on. It's just the two of us going. Who's going to speak first?
Hi. How are
Hi.
you, sir? You all right?
I'm doing really well, mate. It's been a good week. It's been a positive week, and that's all we can ask for, Charlie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, indeed. I'm moving from house to house at the moment. 1 minute I'm there, 1 minute I'm there. I'm in no Premier Inns at the moment. I'm back home for a couple of hours and I go again. It's all right. It's
You,
all
you
good.
say you're back home. I don't believe that. I believe you just broke into a random house and stuck some of your slabs up in the back wall and stole the internet for an hour.
Hold on, someone's just tied up. Shut up.
Yeah. Or
Right.
somebody's tied up. Maybe you're at home. I don't know.
No, it's all good, mate. All good. Like, it's another Thursday, innit? I can't believe it's already the bloody 9th of March, like 3 months
It's
in.
crazy. This year's definitely flying in. It's absolutely crazy. And how many months now till Thought Bubble and
Oh, I think we've got
all that she brings?
April, May, June, July, August, not 8 months, 8 months. And then
Yeah.
I think we've got about probably got about 7 months until we start doing like the creative profile and the creative looks and who's going to be there.
And we know how much everybody loves that segment. So
Everyone loves it, like the old little jolly in the car driving up the road. But it's bloody hell, the chat's banging already. We've got 14 people in. Who we got inside? Right, so we've got Mr. ABZ Comics. Evening all, evening, sir. We've got some bald-headed guy called Perpetual Comics. Hello, mate. How you doing? We've got the one and only Bat Dan Dixon. Hey up, me ducks. Quack, quack. Who else have we got? Yes, everyone's favourites. YouTube Heisenberg's the one and only Leon Russell. We've got the gorgeous Mr. Ed Vick. Have you had any done any swapsies this week with Mr. Ed Vick, have you?
not yet. We're working on it.
Bloody hell, love is in the air. There we go. We've got one and only Mr. Chris Bell. Holla, holla, holla. And yes, ABZ, it is headbanging music. And then, as Andy said, you come to us and we're like, you go first. No, you put the phone down.
Hello.
You go first. We've got Tim. Evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining. 2 weeks on the trot. The one and only Captain Comics. Ahoy, mate and mermaids. He must be docked somewhere because he's logging in. We've got Yuko demands treats. Yes, they do indeed. Martin Simcox, evening Andy, Charlie, and everyone. The favourite female of the group. Hey guys, I'm out for a couple of pints, so I'll catch up later. I just said you're the favourite female of the group and she's drinking pints. There is no end to the style.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You enjoy your pints and have a safe and pleasant evening, and make sure you watch that rewind tomorrow, Connor.
Exactly. And ABZ has just said more Star Wars trades, Andy.
We're working on it.
I thought you'd slab the in-laws. I haven't done it. They haven't been getting on my nerves yet, so I haven't slabbed anyone, which is quite lucky. But no, very, very grateful for them putting me up. So yes. So Andy, how do you want to kick off? We can either go straight into the business end of the show, or we can go for your 15, 16 minutes of pickup. What would you like to do?
Do you know, believe it or not, guys, it's been a very quiet week for pickups. The main reason being, how do we go, is because of this lovely lady.
Yes, you've got to
just
show that
behind
off.
me.
Come on.
Mate, I am not moving that thing. Honest to good. Every time I step into this office, I'm believe it or not, I'm tiptoeing in here, and I'm not built for tiptoeing. Believe it or not. And I honestly, it's like she stares me in the eyes and she watches me as I walk around the room. She is a thing of absolute beauty, and I think I may have went to the dark side when it comes to hot toys and all these expensive type things, because you really do get what you pay for. Opening it up and putting it all together, my anxiety was through the roof. It was crazy in case I broke something or snapped something or ripped something. But we got there, and she's absolutely class. And I think I'm going to move her into somewhere around about here at some point.
There we go.
So
Don't fall for it, everyone. He's about to launch into a 60-minute mark.
yeah, it's like a false sense of, yeah, everything's cool. It's gonna be a 60-minute show, and then I'm just like, there you go. There's my pickups.
I did want to say, well, obviously, you got that fantastic figure, and you took one picture of it with that amazing commission that you got done. What I would personally like to see is some close-ups of her. So
Are you talking about Ahsoka or?
yes, of course I want to talk about it. So,
Okay,
yeah, I'd
just
like to do some
just
close-ups and like different pictures and angles and stuff like that because I'm a fancy fucker. I like stuff like that.
selfies and stuff like that with her.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, with some like sunbeams and showing down, and she's getting her tan on or whatever.
Like I keep that to the professionals, like Ben and Peter and Chris and Fuzzy and Darren with their fantastic photos, guys. If you haven't checked out some of the photos that they do, their action figures, their pops and stuff like that, those guys are the professionals. Me, I just hit snap and then I'm happy. Don't I daren't move her. That's the thing. Like I don't want to move her in case I break her. I'm scared.
Snap, crackle, and flop.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And that's just me, you. That's me, you, and Tom.
That Doctor Doom, when you first got that, I thought that was quite a significantly big figure. But next to Ahsoka, it looks quite small. Is that just the perspective of it?
I think it's they're similar. Yeah, I think it's about 29 centimeters tall for Ahsoka and stuff like that. So, but I done a thing tonight just before we come on. I don't know how to say this, but I pre-ordered the Miles Morales hot toy. Like, listen, my wife's probably downstairs and she'll probably be up in 5 minutes because she's watching the live downstairs. Hi, wifey. Exactly. So, so I treated myself. But yes, with regards to other pickups, it's been a really quiet week. I don't have any comics. I've just paid for my sub-A comic pull list, so that should be here hopefully tomorrow. So I'll have that for next week. Tune in for that. I did, however, receive this from Comic Sam on Instagram and on whatnot. So this is a Kanto trading card, and it's actually signed by David Boer. Is that how you pronounce it? Boer. I believe it is anyway. That's who I'm assuming is the signature here. Basically, I made a little donation on his whatnot because he is expecting a baby. And I had suggested to him to put like a little baby fund together, that a couple of quid or whatever people can donate. Yeah. And I donated a couple of quid, and he was kind enough to send me some trading cards. So thanks to Comic Sam. Make sure you check out his Instagram and his whatnot sales.
Nice. Is that it?
Listen, that was enough. That was enough. That's me.
I feel a bit like Martin. For fuck's sake, no Andy pickup. Stop the world. I want to get off. I'm kind of just.
Listen, I trust me, I will make up for it next week because I paid for my pull list yesterday, day before. Yeah. And it's one of those things, it's every 6 weeks and you kind of forget about it and you're adding comics left, right and centre because it's a nice cover. Yeah. And then seeing that it comes to tentatively logging into your PayPal to pay for it.
Oh, good. Exactly. I've only got one pickup. I think everyone now knows that Harley Quinn is a penchant of mine, and so is.
I was going to say, what was it? The bill for the work to your house that you picked up?
No, that's coming, but it's this.
Oh, whoosh.
Love this. So when I first see it, I was kind of like, I'm not sure how I feel about Harley Quinn being a redhead. I was like, I'm not really sure, but then. When you find out, when you realise that it's the one and only Carla Cohen and this has been traditionally painted and she signed it as well, it's kind of, oh, baby. And even, I mean, look, even the back. And obviously this is the anti-hero 616 version, but this is awesome. So yeah, when we do move back in, this will be going in ideal location.
And who was that through?
The one and only, the only best people there are, the Hobgoblins Hideaway, Tim and Lucy, doing fantastic shows. I don't think there's any pies that their fingers aren't in at the moment.
Okay.
I think they're absolutely killing it on Whatnot, on Vault, on Facebook.
And the reason for that is because not only are they great people, but they're genuine, they're trustworthy, and the quality of service and the slabs, the books,
packaging.
Listen, I will never need to buy packing peanuts in my life.
No.
They are a thing of beauty, but no, we see it every week and we're big supporters of those guys. So make sure that you're joined to their Facebook group and their Whatnot channel as well.
But you know, the thing that I want, like, I really do prefer CBCS. I think they're just so much sturdy and that. But the only thing is, as we've said at times, is the label. It's kind of like you've got a premium product and then someone printed that on a HP printer and just whacked it in. Do you know
It
what
is. I mean, there must be a graphic designer, you know, or a student that's in for the summer that can come in and make a different label, because I totally agree. I think the label definitely puts me off. The quality of the slab, you know, when you've got that in your hand, you know that you've got something that's robust. And you very rarely see Newton rings as well on the slabs, which is a massive thing. But a little segue. There's a thing called, I think it's Crafty Comics on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they're showing off, like, remember we were always saying, like, I would just want to slab a comic and I don't want to get it graded or whatever. Well, they actually offer that service in America.
Oh, wow.
I've added them on Instagram, and I'd love to see if they would send us over one to check out, and maybe showcase on the show. So maybe we'll do a little investigating to see if we can do that, because I think it's like $30 or $40 for this thing. But if you want to go down that route, and there's also the little QR codes and RF codes that you can use your phone. So yeah, just something to go check out.
Because what I'm looking at, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and you mentioned it last week with the trading cards. You've got like these magnetic.
What the one touches?
Yeah, so they're like, obviously they're the hybrid between a top loader and a CGC slab. They do them in a place in space, and I have to say I was impressed with them. Like I think they're like £11 a go, but they look sturdy, and they've got around 5 or 6 comics like on the wall in these things, and they look solid. They look really, really solid. And obviously, I mean, sending off CGC comic, what is it, £25? You're sending off. So if you say what, £5 for the price of the comic, you're looking at £30, buy, send off, get it back, and then you've got to pay for postage and stuff like that. If you don't want to do that and you want a cost-effective way of doing it, I wouldn't see any way of not doing that and then printing off something like a CBCS label and just sticking it above in Perspex. You see what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, I guess the thing with those one touches as well, I'm assuming that's what they're called. I'm not too sure, but you can swap the comics out as well, which is obviously a huge thing. So I believe there's a big thing at the minute where some in America there was some CGCs that were getting forged. So they were cracking out the slabs and putting in like old comics with like fake covers and stuff like that on it. I was watching a couple of American shows, so yeah, it's definitely something to consider.
Definitely. We've just done it from Captain Comics. Charlie and Andy, I'll have to get you guys on my show on Tuesday night sometime. The time zone might be a problem. Cover drawing show. Why not? Go for it. Andy's a dab hand at drawing.
I'll put you onto my agent, Captain Comics, and we can work something out.
Okay. Optimist has joined. Evening, Darren May and Hydra Collectibles. Welcome, Luke. Thank you very much for joining. So that's the pickups out of the way. I'm really looking forward to cuddling mine tonight. So we might as well just like probably get into the show. Yeah, the business end of the show.
Let's get down to business.
To get ready, because this is where it gets not aggressive, but it gets competitive.
Before we start, Charlie,
Yes,
it would be rude of me not to congratulate Luke Hydra Collectibles on reaching the milestone of 1,000 subscribers. I think he's 1,000 plus at the minute. So well done to Luke. It's good to get as many of us, I say us, our UK community, to 1,000 and beyond. And I know that Luke has been working hard for a number of years as a content creator and then a freelance writer. So make sure that you go check out Hydra Collectibles on the YouTubes.
we should be hitting 1,000 round about 2027. I've estimated.
It is. I think if we cared more, Charlie, I think that's half the problem. It's like we just come on here to have some fun on a Thursday, and whatever will be slow, but sure, we will get to there. But then what do we do once we get there? I guess it will help pay towards the StreamYard. Or maybe we'll get loads and loads of sponsorships in and everybody will want to speak to us. But I doubt it.
Why not? But yeah, massive shout out to Luke. And who else? Chris has just said it was bereft down. I'm not sure what that is. Not the king of Europe, though, is he? No, he's not. There we go. ABC comments. I quite like EGS slabs. Most F one of the nicer cases and has UV protection tints. Not to be confused, Eurograder, though, they are relatively new to slab markets compared to likes of PGS, CBSC, and CGC. We're going to get onto this a bit later because we've got a section coming up that we're going to kind of delve into the different options for slabbing comics and stuff like that. So here we go. This is the Killer Covers March 8th, which was obviously New Comic Book Day yesterday. This is for the new people in the chat. This is where myself, Andy, and Tom and our followers and subscribers, they can kind of get involved as well. We kind of pick what we think the killer covers are of the week, and then we kind of just leave it to the community, get a vote, and we win absolutely nothing every single week. So
absolutely nothing.
Up first is your lovely self.
Start with myself, shall we? The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 6. This is the Kendrick Konka, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that, Kendrick, correctly, Lim variant. And this was an open order variant, so you could order as many of these for standard price. It wasn't one of those fancy store variants. This is equally grotesque as it is mind-boggling, as it is one of those covers where the more you look at it, the more things you see and the more things you wish you hadn't seen.
Yeah.
The color work in this is absolutely brilliant. And it was just something different that I can't remember seeing before. I remember Mattina done a Flash cover where it was a different Flash faces, but this for me is up there probably with one of the best covers so far this year. So much so that I've pre-ordered it in a 9.8 and through a company that we'll be talking about shortly later on. But yeah, this is my pick, something a little bit different and something that I don't think we've seen, unless anybody can tell me differently.
This, like, I think you sent this to me a couple of weeks ago, and you didn't have no context to it. I think it was either like 11, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. You just send this through to me, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's no context to it. This is what Andy does sometimes. He just sends something, and there's no context. So I'm just left with my own devices thinking, and I'm waiting for a message follow up, and nothing comes. So then I'm kind of like, right. But this is amazing. Like this is great. But do you know what I thought? Is this like the 3 faces of the Joker? You know, like a Killing Joke. There was 3. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
I actually took it to be like, you could say it's like the 3 different the 3 Jokers, but for me, I think it's actually like a manifestation of the one Joker and his mental instability, I guess is probably the best word I could use for it. And it's kind of an insight into how his sort of mind is working. I can't imagine what sort of imagination you would need to have to come up with a cover like this. And then where do you start? Like, where, you know, surely when you're like, whenever I'm drawing something, it's hard to concentrate on one thing, but to have to plan all that out and have that in your head is something beyond me. So Kendrick Lim wasn't an artist that I was familiar with until I'd seen this cover. And then I'd done a little bit of a deep dive into social media and the other covers that they've done. And some absolutely stunning stuff. So please make sure that you follow Kendrick on Instagram and just let him know that the Killer Comic Show sent you.
It is great, and I think I do have to agree with Tim on this. I think any of those individual Joker faces would make for an amazing cover. Dare I say it, loses a bit of the brilliance combined.
Fair comment. I think it's what adds to the uniqueness of it is the fact that there's 3 different faces combined. As I said, I think it's a bit of a manifestation of the Joker, and that's the thing. I think it could only work with the Joker. I think you try that with Batman, and it just well, what's the point? But you sort of get it because it's the Joker.
And it's not just me that has the dad jokes. It's 3-Face. There we go. Not 2-Face. It's 3-Face. Love that one. And there we go.
How do we ban folk or put them on a timeout?
I'm not sure. I think I'll just click on that and go ban. There we go. Right. So so that's your one. The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 6, cover C. Kendrick Canuck Lim. Tom went for Marvel Bloodline Daughter of Blade 2 Momoko Women's History Month variant. Tom loves a bit of Momoko, you know. I personally, I've only ever bought 1 or 2 Peach Momoko covers. They were from the Hobgoblin's Hideaway. I think one of them was Daredevil. I think one of them was the Hulk. I'm not a massive fan of Peach Momoko. I'm just not. So yeah, I don't really know what to say on this cover. I think it's a great cover, but I think because the story was shit, that's kind of forced my hand to not like this cover, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think Peach Momoko is one of those artists that definitely splits opinion. I think if you look at the stuff that she was doing when, dare I say it, she wasn't as busy and she wasn't as maybe popular, it's probably some of the best stuff, especially
Yeah,
when you look at the backgrounds. I rate a Peach Momoko based on the background, not on the foreground.
yeah,
And whenever there's detail in the background, that's when you know that she's actually produced something that
mhm,
there's a little bit of feeling in it, and you're getting her influences on the cover. I think by and large, she's maybe been a little bit overworked
mhm,
over the last little while, and it's become saturated. The same could be said for Jenny Frison, the same could be said for Martina,
yeah,
and artists like that. As for this cover, and based on the cover alone, I just think it's okay.
mm,
It's not one sort of I would take a second look at if I seen it on the rack in my LCS. I think it feels a little bit saturated as well, a little bit muted, the
yeah,
colours,
yeah.
and I don't think the trade dress on this helps it either.
No.
Yeah, I think it's just okay.
Yeah, no, I think it looks a bit rushed, if I'm honest, and I think that's due to her probably being overworked. Like it looks unfinished.
Yeah. She's done. I know she's done a lot of the Women's History Month variants, and I think she's done like 2 or 3 Star Wars ones. And again, you know, the thing is, you know a Peach Momoko straight away, just like you know a Jennifer Son
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But I guess like if you're a Peach Momoko fan,
Mhm.
you'll eat this up all day. But it's
Yeah.
just a bit samey.
It's true what Leon said though. I like some of Peach's stuff, but she often seems a bit art studenty to me. Yeah, this to me looks like an A-level piece. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. I mean, when you look at what you've just put up, and obviously it's a different character narrative, and it's different artists and the way they work. But this for me, as you said, some of the Peach Momoko stuff early was amazing. This just looks like it's rushed. She's just like, well, let me get it out there. It's Marvel. We could be wrong, like, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just.
Uh, no. I mean, I take your opinion. I think, as I say, whenever people talk about Peach Momoko, there's a lot of opinions,
Mhm.
and I'm sure she doesn't care one bit about what anybody
Yeah,
thinks of her artwork. But yeah, I guess if for the purpose of this, and we're sort of contrasting, comparing the different covers,
yeah,
I would say this one was just okay. Yeah.
yeah. Perfect. So yeah, so that's Tom's. I've gone for the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 21, the Fantastic Ivan Tao variant B. If I'm being honest, this is probably one of the best Spider-Man covers I've seen in recent times. Like this is sensational. Like
Well,
it's amazing.
it's one of them because there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
There's the Miles Morales cover,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
pretty much a carbon copy of this one.
Which you've got, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is, I mean, but his work is very samey, but when it's this good, I don't care.
I think Ivan Teal has jumped on the Patrick Gleason bandwagon where you remember he was doing the web heads of every
Yeah,
single
yeah, yeah,
character.
yeah,
We're going to get the drippy paint of every single
yeah,
character. But again, on its individually, it's absolutely stunning and very eye catching. But I do prefer the Miles Morales cover.
I would love if this was a foil. I think if this was a foil, I mean, it'd be a CGC nightmare because knowing my luck, it would come back covered in Newton rings, like Grimm issue number 1 did the foil variant, came back. I was very excited to get it, and it came back with Newton rings everywhere. Came back
Mm.
with Newton rings on Newton rings, but this is, yeah, this is sensational. Love that.
And this is the Virgin variant. I think there's a trade dress of this as well,
Yeah,
isn't there?
yeah, and even the
I
trade
think
dress isn't that bad, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if you want the full effect of this, but again, if you've got the Miles Morales one, you're probably going to pick this one up. You're
Mhm.
probably going to pick the Spider Gwen up and
Yeah,
whatever other characters. And if he does a set of villains for the Spider
yeah,
Man as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
all in.
Foil eyes would be pretty cool. Yeah,
Red foil background with
yeah.
silver foil eyes. There we go. Boom.
And Darren said it's nice to see Tao without the sharp, lined, pointy faces. They change.
Darn, I absolutely 100% agree. I think Ivan Teal's best work is when he's doing a character with a mask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we have one more entry. This is from Chris Bell, and this is The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 6, cover B by Lee Bemijo, and this is the variant cover. Now, obviously, I think Chris picked this because he posted it on his wall and like tagged the Killer Comic Show and stuff like that. So I'm assuming this is Chris's, but I'm a massive Lee Bemijo fan. Like, and he just does the Joker as creepy as anything. And this, could you imagine you're getting your teeth whitened or you're going to see like your monthly dentist and this geezer pops up? No thanks. I'm off. Look how freaky that is. It's horrible.
It's the eyes. It's like, and I don't think you even notice the eyes.
Just the eyes. Nothing else. Just the eyes.
Yeah, you're so focused on the fact that he's kind of a sewing up his face by the looks of things, which is obviously grotesque enough. But the last few comics that Lee Bemijo has been doing for particularly The Man Who Stopped Laughing have been absolutely stunning. Some of the work that he's done for Batman and DC alone, like if Lee Bemijo wasn't in DC, like can you imagine some of the stuff that he would do? Has he ever done anything for Marvel? Maybe something they can Google that for us. But
do you know what? I don't actually think he has. But I've just realised he's sewing up his face because there was another 2 faces coming out of it on the first page.
There we go. That's exactly it.
That's what he's done. We've got loads of our brothers from across the pond. We got Nick the Comic Nerd. Hey, feckers. Feck you too, mate.
Hey, feckers.
You feck off, eh?
I haven't spoken to Nick in absolutely ages. Good to see you, brother.
And then he's saying, fellas, no, sheesh. Maybe you should lay off.
He comes on after a while, just calls us all feckers, and then, There
we go. I do love a Bemijo, but Teo is better. So that is the 4 covers we've got. So over on the community tab now, that will be going live. We've got Andy, Tom, myself, and Chris. Place your votes, and we will come back to that at the end of the show. Now, we change things up. Normally, we put out 4 comics and the top 2 win, and we review the top 2 comics. But as of last week, we just decided to step back down and think, well, hold on, let's put more time and effort into reviewing one comic. We'll go over the art, we'll go over the narrative, we'll go over the character development, the illustrations and stuff like that. So this week, Phantom Road, issue number 1 from the fantastic Jeff Lemire, Gabriel H. Walta, and Jordi Belair. Released by Image Comics last week, which was week number 9. Andy, this was your pick. This was one of your sneak peeks, wasn't it? So I feel it's only right if you take it away first.
Okay, I'll go over the covers and then maybe you can start on what you thought because I started last week, so it's your turn.
Okay.
So we've got cover A, the main cover, that's by Gabriel Walta. This is written, of course, by Jeff Lemire, fantastic writer. And the artwork is by Gabriel Walta. So he's done the main cover. The cover B is a Jeff Lemire cover, which I think is fantastic, especially when you read the story because it just ties in absolutely beautifully. And then you've got the Javier Fernandez cover C cover. And I have to mention, we've only sort of outlined the writer and the artist on this one, but the colorist was the fantastic Jordi Belair. And Jordi Belair is probably one of the best colorists out there. And we needed her colors for this. And yeah, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. So those were the 3. I think there was maybe a couple of shop variants and stuff like that. But I don't know about you, Charlie, but this was quite a low-key Image book. There wasn't a huge amount of hype about this.
No, there weren't. And I think if you hadn't have picked it, I think we do a comic review show, and I still read probably about 5, 6, 8 comics a week. Like, I love my comics, but I really like on Comixology, and I'm really reading digitally now because I think there's with the comics that are coming out, other than Marvel and DC and stuff like that, there's too much of it. Like, and I was speaking to one of my friends today who, like, we're talking about like CGCs and stuff like that, and he's saying he's got so many comics that he's just given up on because you have to wait either 3 or 4 weeks for the next issue to come out. By the time the next issue comes out, he has to go into his long box and pull out issue number 1 to catch up to find out what's happening in issue number 2. But what I've noticed with Image, when a comic like this goes under the radar, it piques my interest a lot more because I'm like, if it wasn't for this show, and if it wasn't for you or Tom picking it, I wouldn't have read it. And I'm so bloody glad I did because I really, really enjoyed this comic. Like, really enjoyed it.
I'm super. I was kind of worried about what you would think of this. I'm really interested to find out what Tom thinks about this when we get to speak to him. The last time that a book went under the radar that was really successful was Something That's Killing the Children, and I think that's what prompted everybody to start reading and making sure that they didn't miss these types of books. But off the bat, what did you think of the story?
I just think like I liked it that you got literally thrown straight into it, so you kind of see the end at the start of it. Because even then I was like, right, you've got my interest now. I need to know how this situation's arisen. And I was like, yeah, I want to get into this. But I just love, like, Jeff Lemire. I say it time and time again. He gets to a certain issue and you're like, I'm bored now. I'm literally, you've hit a lull. I'm so bored. I want it to pick up again. Family Tree did it. There was 12 issues of Family Tree. It got to issues 6 and 7, and then it didn't pick up again until issue number 9. Little Monsters did that. It got to issue number 6. Everyone thought it was going to end. It should have ended there, and then it carried on, and it's now started to pick up again, and you're really getting invested in the characters again. Straight off the bat, this comic, the art, the colors, and just the whole overarching theme of a truck driver on his own for 24 hours a day. Is it his mind that's like creating all of this stuff? Like when he's seeing like the vision of himself in the wing mirror, in the windscreen, and then it flicks to his son, and then it goes to a flashback of him having an argument with his wife, and they're arguing in front of the son, and then she's accusing him of technically not even having a job, just jumping in his van for a jolly, shagging all these women on the way, and then coming back, picking up some clothes, changing his clothes, having another Barney, saying hello to the kid, and then going off on the road again. I think this character here, and especially in the panel Tom picked in the middle, he looks like Billy Butcher from the Boys.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see this because this is like supernatural. It's kind of borderline horror. I'm all for it. And Jeff Lemire again has hooked me in line and sinker, and I'm invested in this because I really want to see where it's going to go. And I had to put up the last panel, which is the end of the comic, because I think it just captures everything. It's a horror comic. He's literally just met someone he doesn't even know from Adam. They're now going to go on this bloody journey to find out what's happening. And then the supernatural element of this stone, or like a dog that he looked like they touched, took them somewhere. So where the hell is this? Is this got like Area 51 vibes and stuff? I'm all for it, man. I really, really enjoyed reading this, and I like the guy Gak. There we go. That's what I'm going to call him.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you liked it. Probably a bit of context for like the people who didn't get a chance to read it. So you've got the main character Dom, who is the truck driver, and you're following him for the first maybe 5, 6, 7 pages.
Yeah.
And you're basically Jeff Lemire's doing what he does best, and he's building up that character to instantly become a likable character. You can just imagine him. He's like for me, it was like one of those stereotypical truck drivers where he's maybe a little bit insular because he's on his own for most of the time, and it's like a quiet little secret from there. You're absolutely right, Phil. I think this went so under the radar that it will probably be issue 2 and 3 that people will pick it up.
Yeah.
Dom finds himself kind of because he's looking at that one road, and the way Jordi Belair does the lights, it's as if it's like a street lamp that you're sort of focusing on, that sort of vibe you were getting. And he sort of all he's seen is the reflection of himself, which is kind of like a bit of a metaphor. I think it's like he's on the road that much that all he has time to do is to think about his life, to think about his past life, which we're going to be diving into, and also thinking about the things that maybe he doesn't like, he wants to change about his life. So he's constantly seeing that reflection, and before you know it, there's a crash, and he basically gets out of his truck to find out what's happened, and he sees this dead guy sitting next to the car. But then there's a female character called, I think was it Birdie, the female character.
Yeah.
And this is who we see on the second and third page there. And I got pure vibes of like The Walking Dead for this.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone as well was something that came into my head. And see the first page there, of the sort of extraterrestrial monster zombie thing. I got like, do you know the painting by Edvard Munch?
Yeah,
Of-
100%. Yeah. That's the hand, isn't it? Is that?
Yeah, that's the one when that's instantly what I thought when I seen that, and a little bit like Scream. There's like Scream vibes as well.
Yeah.
The best thing for me about this was the writing was spot on. The art was very in keeping with the story, but the color work for this absolutely made this. I can't emphasize how much this made this book for me. I'd say there was some downsides to me. It felt sometimes like it was a bit like a low budget movie. Sometimes, like you could see that this was primed for like TV or like a low budget movie.
Bravo, the
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, at like 1 p.m. yeah, or 1 a.m. in the morning. I think it will take a lot for people who are not Jeff Lemire fans to maybe be sold on this book, because for me it was maybe a little bit slow. There was a lot of sort of exposition into the characters and building them up, but the way that Jeff done it was instantly relatable. Like I'm in the truck with this guy. We're on this journey together now, and I want to see what happens. And there's just enough sort of X-Files extraterrestrial type lure about this that it kind of ticks a lot of boxes. And I think for me, it's one of the top books that I've definitely read. It's got me really intrigued, really interested, and I can't wait for issue number 2.
I was shouting when she wouldn't let him in. I was going, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, just let him in. It's his van. It's his truck. Like, what are you doing?"
How good was it that they sort of done a little bit of foreshadowing of that at the start? So you start with that. So you, as you say, Charlie, you dive straight into the story, and then it kind of circles back and lets you understand how you got to that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's great.
I think that's a great talent of a writer, because it's kind of just like previewing, like, this is what you got to come. So have a look at it, because if you want to find out more, you've got to keep reading. And it was great. And I was honest, I was like, "You stupid bitch, what are you doing? Just let him in. You caused all this shit, and now you're locking yourself in his truck, not letting him in." And I really did want him to get in there and just like throw her out, just let her attack. And then at the last minute, he goes, his conscience kicks in, and he goes and saves her.
Yeah, and you can just see like the two of them becoming this sort of duo, almost a little bit like The Last of Us.
Yeah,
you've got the male character and the female character. You can see these two working like a tag, like a partnership. And you can obviously see in that last page, and that's where it kind of takes a turn and really becomes intriguing, because you see the violence and what this guy's willing to do with that crowbar.
With the crowbar.
To obviously to save the two of them, but obviously to save this relic, which is kind of caused this. So you don't know what this thing is that they found in the road. It could be anything. But they've obviously killed all those sort of zombie people to save this, put it in the back of the truck, and you can just go, right, okay, it's a little bit like Nocterra now. It's like Nocterra during the day. They're going to go on this truck journey now. I can't wait for issue number 2. It was, I know this probably passed a lot of people by, but try and see if you can get it on Comixology or go to your LCS and pick it up. It's definitely worth it.
What I really like about this is how it's all faded, because I think if there was any bold pop out colors, it kind of ruins the whole aesthetic of the comic.
Well, you can imagine, like, if all the trucks on the road and it's bringing up all the dust, that's the kind of a vibe that Jordi Belair seemed to be going for. It's got that, it's like a hue, like a filter's been put across each of the pages. And I just thought it was really in keeping with the story.
And you know what? I've just realised that Dom is a dad. So technically, his name's Papa Dom.
Right, hold on, guys. We were so serious there. Like, there's 5 people just dropped off after that joke. Such a bad joke.
I just literally sat there and I was like, hold on, he's dad.
Papa so Dom. Whilst I was giving my heart and soul into this review, you were thinking, his name's Papa Dom.
My wife has always said she's got 4 kids and I'm the worst one. And you know what?
Absolutely.
I've got to live up to expectations. So why not?
So if you were marking this out of 10, what would you give it for the art?
For the art, I'm going to go with an 8. I still think there's room for improvement. I really do. I think, but it is great. And like, my favorite character so far is Gook. Whatever. That's what I'm going to call him. I think it's great. But Jordi Belair gets a 10. I think what he's done with the colours and how he's kind of gripped everyone with what he does is just amazing. Like
It's a she.
I haven't seen a lot of her stuff recently. Like I think she's been keeping quiet, but when she does do it, it's fantastic. Like it is great stuff. Like it's incredible.
It's superb. It's an interesting comment there from Leon saying he wasn't sure about this one. Atmospheric though, once he gets out of the diner and into the phantom world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just my sort of frame of mind when I was reading this. I was really open to, and I think because it was Jeff Lemire as well, I knew good things were coming. Leo, the question for Leon: was it enough to read issue number 2?
I think because it's Jeff Lemire, I'm going to give the writing for this. I'm going to give this an 8 because I think I want to know more, and I thought more could have happened. But again, it ended on a cliffhanger of kind of like, what's it going to go? So yeah, for the art is an 8, for the story and the character development an 8, but for the art, for the color is a 10 because I think
Yuko's is unsubscribed, and I was thinking, yeah, you and 10 other people this week.
Yeah. And yeah, look, see, that Poppadom joke should be considered a war crime.
I don't disagree. I'm unsubscribing as we speak.
I've just unsubscribed myself, but then I was like, actually, do you know what? That was actually pretty cool.
For me, the artwork, I would give it an 8 as well. For the writing, I would give it a 7. I thought it was solid, but there wasn't a lot of writing. I guess there wasn't a lot of reading in this particular book. It was all to do with the artwork. And I think if you take the words away, then the artwork would have sold the story on its own. But for me, 10 out of 10, Jordi Belair on the colours on this one was absolutely superb. And it was one book that, and I've been thinking this recently, that it would be better reading it as a graphic novel or a trade paperback. But for this one, I think this is actually suited to each individual issue because it's taking you on that journey a little bit like Noctera is.
You spoke about The Last of Us. Have you seen the latest episode?
I have, yes.
I was honestly, I think I see a comment. I don't ever want to see Bella Ramsey and Joel, Pedro Pascal questioned about being Joel and Ellie ever again. I think if anyone's watching The Last of Us and you haven't seen the latest episode, brace yourself because it was one of the best episodes I've ever seen in a TV series, if I'm actually being honest. And I'm comparing that to the Red Wedding of Game of Thrones.
They turned up the violence by like at least 11, which was quite, that was quite graphic and stuff like that. But I think it was a great episode.
I mean, emotionally, it was a hard-hitting, fast-paced episode that was.
I said to my wife, I says she is such a good actor. Or actress, actor. It really stood out in this episode. But if only you were doing your weekly review of it.
Yeah, do you know what? Oh, yeah, maybe I'll do an end one. I think Leon Russell kept going. Yeah, it was really good. And look, it was an amazing episode last time, and that ending did floor me. And I don't think it was. Yeah, I think it was. I don't want to say too much because it was absolutely fantastic. I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't seen it yet. But yeah, if you haven't done it, check it out and let us know what you think. So up now is the killer picks. Andy, there's only one, mate. It's only you.
Is it just me? Okay.
Just because I forgot to do one because I had to run from the in-laws' house to this house to.
No problem at all. No problem. Just guys, just come back to the Phantom Road. If you haven't read it, and you do decide to pick it up and give it a read after this, then please let us know on Instagram and Twitter and things like that what you thought of it. That would be appreciated. So this is my pick. This is my indie pick, as we all know and love it. This is No One, issue number 1. This is written by Brian Buccellato and Kyle Higgins, and the artwork is Geraldo Borges. You're going to pick this up for roughly about £3.20 our money, give or take, and it should be in shops all going well next week. So this is a little Image Comics indie pick that I think is potentially maybe went under the radar as well. And I thought the synopsis sounded really interesting. So 10 months ago, the Richard Roe murders shocked the city of Pittsburgh. In the months since, the killings have sparked a dangerous political movement, copycat killers, and a mass vigilante who's still determined to hold the powerful accountable. Not a symbol, not a hero. They could be anyone. They're no one.
So basically, they've just said, not Batman, not this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, right? But my first thoughts are, when I looked at the first image on the left-hand side, it's very Batman. It looks like Batman jumping out of a building.
I think any character with a cape jumping out is going to be likened to Batman, to be fair.
But there is actually I think it's either a panel in one of the Batman comics where he jumps out like that, and it's at that exact pose. I might find it and either show it on Instagram or show it next week. But I like the whole
Interestingly, I got Noctera vibe from the second cover as well.
See, I got what is it? Batman. What's the one? Batman 1? No, it's not Batman 1 Dark Knight. It's a Batman cover where it's a cover of Batman and he's holding 3 Jokers' heads in lanterns.
Okay.
And I got that vibe as well. But I like the whole concept of that. They're not a symbol. They're not a hero. They could be anyone. They're no one. Like, I like the whole premise of that.
Doesn't give a huge amount away, but you know, it definitely sounds intriguing enough for me to read the first issue. So might give it a read. We might put this up as the pick to read next week. But here, listen, the big book for me for this week, guys, was Clear, issue number 1. I'm just going to throw that out there, by Scott Snyder. It was originally in Comixology. I think it's 3 issues. First issue was out from Dark Horse Comics yesterday, this new comic book day, and I would highly recommend it. I'm going to throw that up as my pick to be voted on. So
go for it.
Vote.
Yes, go for it. But yeah, this No One, I do like that. I do. Looking forward to this. No One issue number 1. There we go. Now, moving swiftly over to the Killer Toy, but I've been looking forward to this one, Andy. Like this has been a good toy week, to be honest. Again, it's you. You might as well just run this show, mate. It's all about you, really, isn't it?
Not at all.
Yeah,
yes, exactly. Which one's which? That's the thing. I think I'm the only one that can do the truffle shuffle, to be fair. Not tonight. Not tonight. So this is a fantastic Iron Studios statue. This one is the standard version. There's also a deluxe version you can get of this, and it comes with like a fancy stand. It looks like the ship's hull, which looks absolutely spectacular. So this is Sloth and Chunk from the Goonies, the movie that we all love. Is anybody in the chat or anybody in the comments when you're watching this in the rewind, has anybody not seen the Goonies? Everybody has to have seen the Goonies.
There can't be anyone in the chat that has not seen one of the most iconic films of the 80s.
Between that and E.T., I can't think of 2 other movies that sparked my imagination as a kid, as to just like the wonder of filmmaking and adventure. Absolutely superb. Maybe Indiana Jones, actually. That's maybe another one. So this is a 1/10 scale statue. No posability or anything like this. This is basically lift this out the box and stick it up in your man cave somewhere, or lady cave. That sounds wrong. The price is rewind.
Stick it up your lady cave.
Jesus.
There you go.
We need to clip that. Or what is it? What is it to say in Spine Ticks? Pause. Pause.
I could just going, here you guys, stick up the
So this is $200, so it's not cheap, but again, it's kind of in the hot toy. It's kind of in the hot toy era of collectibles, and it is due out on March 6th. So it came out 3 days ago. So that was my toy pick of the week. I can't believe I said
that. My wife loves Jaws, E.T. and Goonies, probably her favorite. I watched Jaws again, right? And it's shockingly made, but at that time, it's scary. Like it is really scary, because when you think that was like one of the first of its kind, like a massive, giant, great white shark. And the way that they did it is amazing. But when you look back at it now and they show behind the scenes of how it's like mechanically like operating and stuff, it was great. But yeah, E.T., the Goonies, Ghostbusters as well. Like Ghostbusters. I'm a massive fan of the old Ghostbusters. I'm not too like of the newer ones. I didn't really like that. Like I wasn't really into that. But yeah, like this is great. Anyhow, look, hashtag put that up, you lady. Wow.
Oh dear. Never going to live that one down, have I?
But
Do you know that way when you say something and you try to grab it back, but it's already out there, and it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh well.
that's definitely going to be out there because I'm clipping that. I'm literally trimming that lady cave and putting it in. Hold on.
Oh no, 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 no. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, listen, I'm sorry for all the unsubscribers. After
Shocking.
that.
So there will be a trimmage of Lady Cave, and we will be putting it up there on Instagram for everyone to see Andy's faux pas. There we go. So this is yours. I went for this. This popped up on, and I was going for the Batman Multiverse 12-inch statue from the Flash movie. Obviously, this is iconic. 40 quid is actually not bad, and it looks amazing. I honestly think it looks really, really good.
So that this is a statue then, so there's no posability or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, that looks good. Looks a little bit shiny to me. That's what puts me off. It's a wee bit
You
shiny.
know what? Like the different on McFarlane Tours, the different poses that it's got. Well, not poses, but the different images that it's taken. It doesn't look as that shiny. I mean, obviously, it's the 1990s Batman. So his like outfit was pretty shiny anyway. But this looks good. Like I was really like I see it. It came up on the Bleeding Cool, and I was like, oh, let me have a look at that. And then I was like, oh, but the cape, the detail on the cape on the reverse of it looks really, really good.
Nice. And this is based on the new Flash movie,
Yeah.
Batman, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, but I mean, it looked fantastic just on display and stuff like that. I know a lot of people take the McFarlane action figures and they kind of mod them, as it were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they sort of paint them and
Oh,
dirty
okay.
them up. So
Oh, really?
I've seen that done on Instagram. That looks really cool.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Oh, that actually, I'm going to look into that. That's another rabbit hole I'm going to go down. This one, while I was on, I spent honestly a good 2 or 3 hours on Iron Studios last night just looking for everything. This is the diorama Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles BDS art scale 1 in 10. So they're individually priced at £200 a pop.
I was just about to say there's no way that's for all of them. That's individual.
So they're individually priced at $199.99, which is probably around about 180 quid, £180 each.
Yeah.
But head over to Iron Studios and have a look at them. The detailing on this is sensational. Like they do this one, and then they do them all in the same poses, but in with just the red bandanas. They're all wearing the same. They're all wearing red bandanas for the larger lady cave. There we go. That's the one. That's the lady cavern. But yeah, this looks amazing. Like I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me, the sculpt of them are great. Like the one in 6th and everything like that, they look amazing. This just goes above and beyond. Like, could you imagine just having this? It would just be amazing.
Especially if you had like a specific diorama set
Yeah.
up for this. I know that Luke has dioramas that he's picked up, and it looks absolutely superb.
Yeah.
What are the scale? 1/10 scale? Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
there'll be decent enough size and stuff like that. So yeah, these look great. Am I going to spend $800 on this? Not this week.
Plus shipping. Why not?
Well, exactly, and shout out to Peter, who I believe in his next Art Attack show is going to be doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
So make sure that you go and watch that, and watch the rewind of the show with Alex Cormack. Some of the stuff that he was
Oh
producing
my God.
was superb.
What he literally produced in like 5 minutes was absolutely amazing. Like some of it. But even Kevin, like I really enjoyed his drawing of The Exorcist. That was awesome.
Absolutely brilliant. And I done a wee sketch during
you smashed it as
the
well,
show.
mate.
Yeah, I done a wee sketch during the show, so I done it on the iPad, so that's kind of a cheating. So.
Exactly. Martin has said, "Remember the Echo joke in Predator film." regarding the cave. Do you remember that?
Echo. Echo.
That TNT looks quality. It is quality. It looks, but yeah, head over to Iron Studios and have a look at the individual pictures because the detailing on it looks really, really sublime. Really, really good.
If money was no issue, I think that would be the sort of rabbit hole that I'd be diving into. Would be all those expensive statues.
If money was no issue, I'd still be skint.
There's always something to spend money
There's
on.
always something to spend the money on. But yeah, Iron Studios, yeah. I mean, I've got a little figure, a little Iron Man figure from Iron Studios, which is it the Minico? They do like a little something called the Minico.
Yeah.
And I've got one of them. But even the detailing on that is pretty good. I'd love to be at the level where I'm like, yeah, I've got, because if I was to buy these, I'd have nowhere to put them.
Well, that's exactly it. That's you can see round me and stuff like that. It's this is the business side that's chaos where you can't see the camera.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this looks awesome. And now that's the toy section done. I just kind of want to jump back over to the digital Kickstart because they absolutely smashed their the total that they were doing. They smashed that out of the park. They've done that. Obviously, digital Kickstarter issue number 4 is it's ready to go. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Digital, we said it last week. It's a great comic. They're great guys reading it. They're great guys writing it. Art and everything, absolutely amazing. The whole story of it is it's basically an ongoing sci-fi story set against the backdrop of Earth, blinded by its dependence on technology and the aftermath of the AI, which catered for its every need, rising up and taking charge. A bit like the 21st century, but it's in comic form. Fantastic. 4 characters. Was it issue number 1 or 2 that ended on such a cliffhanger that I was like,
I think it was number 2, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this is amazing. They've issue number 4 explores more about the events that led to the fall of humanity, as well as continuing the journey of our main protagonists as they continue to deal with being the last hope for their species, but are fundamentally just 4 strangers brought together by happenstance. And we have 4 fantastic covers. The Something is Killing the Humans is my favorite. I think
I've said to Rich, I'm definitely going to be backing this, and Something That's Killing the Humans cover. I need that in my life. Do you know that there's 144 backers as it stands at the minute? There's 22 days to go, and they've raised £4,156 of the £3,500 target. So, I mean, guys, come on, that is absolutely fantastic, and I think it's testament. It just goes to show the effort that these guys put in, but the quality of issues 1, 2, and 3. There's a dedicated following that wants to see what happens in issue number 4. So if you can afford it, please go and back this Kickstarter. I've stuck the link in the chat. So if you're watching on the Rewind, please make sure you go check it out. And even if you don't, or you're not in a position to back it, go and follow Digital on Instagram and go give Rich and stuff like that a shout out.
Go for it, definitely. So that's that, and then moving now on. So that went really, really quick there. So we spoke about this. Did we speak about this last week? I think we did speak about like SLABBED CRUSADERS last week and stuff like that. So
I think we'd mentioned it last week and we said let's do a little bit of a deep dive into it and tell everybody about it.
So basically, SLABBED CRUSADERS, they're relatively new. I think they're only starting in 2021? I
think so, yeah.
2021. They're a UK-based comic service that does one thing and one thing only. They provide you with a pre-order CGC graded service for comics with a 9.8 guarantee. Now, when I first heard that, you told me about it, I was like, how's this work? This literally has to be like, it can't be real. Like,
what's the catch? I think is what came into everybody's head whenever they go 9.8 guarantee. It's like, what's the catch? What is the catch?
And it was when I looked into it, I was like, even then, I was still a bit unsure. I was like, really? Like, how does this work? Surely they're on a loss making, because if you can guarantee that everything's coming back as a 9.8, why is everyone not doing it? But then when you look into it, and I started speaking to James, who runs the company, by the way, you can check him out on Facebook groups. The links are up there and stuff like that. You kind of understand that this is fantastic. This is fantastic because, let's be honest, not everyone wants a 9.4, 9.6, everyone wants a 9.8. When you get a 9.8, you're like, oh, I've got a 9.8. But the option that SLABBED CRUSADERS do is that the whole premise of that is if you don't get that 9.8 guarantee, you can get a 9.6 and a half a refund, or you can keep. Is that correct? You can keep the 9.6.
So I think things have slightly changed over the last wee while where they've added new options to it. So you can pay a certain amount, and if it comes back at 9.8, great. You're happy, everybody's happy. If it comes back anything less than a 9.8, then you can either get a percentage off. I think it's like 15-20% off and keep the slab, or you can just get your money back and those guys keep the slab, and then it falls into the Fallen Crusaders category. And I believe what they do is on their Facebook group, they'll run every so often basically a big opportunity for all those fallen slabs, as it were, to be sort of claimed for people who want them. I don't know if I've not seen what you've got up here, Charlie, and tell me to be quiet if I'm going too fast, but they've just introduced a new option where it's called the Ultimate Crusade, and you can pay, I think it's 20 quid roughly extra, and it literally guarantees your 9.8. So if it doesn't come back in 9.8, it comes back in 9.6. Not only do you get to keep the slab, but you also get a full refund as well. So, as I said, it's one of those things where, like, okay, well, where's the money in that? But it's obviously a numbers game for James and these guys. It's like the amount of the percentage of comics that come back in 9.8 must be high enough for new comics that obviously he believes it's going to be a 9.8 all the time. And we've used the service as well, Charlie, haven't we? I certainly have, yeah.
So obviously, how it works, each week the comics available in order will change in line with what's on the FOC list. Then the final order cutoff is abbreviations for final order cutoff. This is the final date for comic orders before publishers print their comics. Any orders placed before this date ensures you get your copy. Then the costs. The price for each product in the Slab Crusade is for the comic book and the grading service. The price does not include postage fees. So the way this does, every step of the way, you'll have communication with James, you'll have communication with the Slab Crusaders. And then when your comics come back, if there's Newton rings or anything with it, they won't send it to you. That will go back to CGC, and then they will only charge you the price of the postage when everything is ready to be shipped to you, and the price is up on their website, so the postage fees are there.
I think it was like $5.50, or something that cost me to get a slab sent. But they also allow you to stack your slabs. So if you've maybe ordered like 5 or 6 slabs, but you don't want to pay 5 or 6 individual postage, you can stack them until they're all back with them, and then get all 6 of them sent out at the same time, which I think is a fantastic idea.
I mean, that's a great, like, when I heard about that, I thought that was a great idea, because obviously with step one, you kind of place your order. So there's the excitement of picking what comic you want. And I think there is an element of it, which Sean did say, he said it does take away some of the fun in waiting to see what you've got. 9.0 anyone.
There's no fun in that.
There's no fun in that. There is no fun in that at all. And it says they are now offering raw end slabs, brilliant concept and top company. And obviously, step one is you place your order. You pick what you want off the FOC list, and then you put it in your basket. You check out. I think you have to sign up, or you can check out as a guest, and then you get an email confirming that you've done your order and stuff like that. Step two, you sit back and relax. When you've paid for your comics, we take over. Once your comic is released, we will make sure to pick the best quality from our stock, parcel them up, and ship them to CGC for grading. Once on the CGC system, we will contact you to provide you with an update on your comics progress. That's pretty good.
There's also a tracking, an option of tracking your order. So whenever you put your order through, you'll be able to see it on your My Account. You take the reference number, put that into the tracking bit of the website with your email address, and that will actually tell you what stage it's at. And I know that James has been working on updating that to make it a little bit more robust, so that you know exactly where it's at. And just one of the comments there was with regards to raw books as well. So I think that's literally just hot off the press that they're introducing that. And I think they're doing it a little bit differently from like your regular, getting your pull list, where you subscribe. You subscribe to a series, and I think that's obviously to safeguard James from people ordering comics and then cancelling them or not paying for them and things like. You're sort of prepaying for that series, as it were.
And a lot of people seem to be using the Slab Crusader, which is great to hear, because Chris has said, use them loads, got a big stack again and more on order, can't fault them. it's really good. Like, I'm really looking forward to like using them, because obviously you've got step 1, step 2, and step 3 is the update. So it goes on the CGC system, then you find out the grade, and then you sit back, and when it's with us, they kind of, and as you mentioned, you can stack or shift it. Once the slab passes our quality control, you have the choice to either slab post you straight away to, or stack it with us free of charge. I think a lot of people, where it's FOC, a lot of people are going to be like, well, I've got one going off possibly every week. So by the time they come back, there's only going to be a week or 2 between them. So I might as well wait till I get 5 or 6, and then they come back anyway.
Yeah, I'm absolutely positive that's the way that things are going. Yeah.
And to be honest, the cost is, I mean, when you think about it, to send individual, it's like £28, 26 or £28 to send your own comic off, and then you've got to pay for postage and stuff like that. So I can't fault it. It sounds too good to be true, but it's not.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yes.
I've used it 4 or 5 times. I've got 4 on order, and I've got 1 that I received. I think the 2 key things for me that made me go back to do it again was, number 1 was, you mentioned it, there's a quality inspection that happens. And I believe that James is maybe like a one-man team. I don't know if he has other people who support him. So, you know, tipping my proverbial hat off to him. But with that inspection is, I think, absolutely key, because they're going to check for cracks in the slab. They're going to check for Newton rings and things like that. And that's something that, me personally, I'm taking another risk on whenever I send my stuff myself to try and get a 9.8, that I just have to hope for the best and keep my fingers crossed that it's going to be okay. But the quality of packaging as well, which is a huge thing for sending slabs for obvious reason. And you won't be disappointed with the way that James sends the stuff. So this is the one that I've received thus far, and this is Aliens #1, 9.8 white pages. So what I tend to do in the books that I'm picking are books that are going to be quite difficult to get a 9.8, that I don't necessarily want to receive from my pool list and then send off myself. And this, I think, would be quite a hard book to, because obviously the white cover. But yeah, this came back in 9.8, and I was delighted with it. So as I say, I've got 4 or 5 that are on order at the minute, and 9 times out of 10, it's the ones that I've chosen for my killer cover picks that I'll try and pick up.
And with the option of, obviously, if it comes back lower than a 9.8, you've got the option to either keep the slab and take half of. Is that an option that you would do?
I think if I really wanted to get a 9.8, I would utilize the new service that they've got, where it's the Ultimate Crusade, where you pay, I think it's maybe 15 or 20 quid extra. So you're probably talking about, what, 50, 57 pound for a slab, and it guarantees the 9.8, or your all your money back and keeping the slab. That's what I would go down the route. Or I would order 2. I would hedge my bets and order 2. I know, in particular, the Jenny Frisson cover, I've got it ordered, you've got it ordered as well. So fingers crossed they'll come back 9.8s. But I think he's probably got to the point now where he's sending so many out that it would be really interesting to get James on, or to understand what are the percentage of 9.8s that he's received in all the books that he sent out, because it must be high enough for him to continue to do it.
I mean, I think, there's got to be a big turnover. There's got to be a big turnover, which is great, because I kind of wanted that Hardy one that you got, and I spoke to James and I was like, "Oh, I've just noticed on the website that it's sold out. Is there?" And he was like, "No, I can add that back on. That's not a problem. I can still get them available." And literally, while I was talking to him on Facebook Messenger, he updated it onto the website. It went back into stock, and I was able to go on and do it within seconds. So that's how quick James is at getting things done. So if you do, I'm not saying I might be shooting myself in the foot. I might be making more work for James, but I reached out to him and just said, "I've noticed there's a comic that's out of stock. It's the Jenny Frisson Harley Quinn 27. Is it actually out of stock, or am I still able to get it?" And he was like, "No, I'm still able to get that comic in raw. So yeah, feel free." And I went back on and done it, which was great.
Best thing to do is to join up to the mailing list, and they send you an email every Wednesday, Thursday, FOC, and you can go into the website and click through everything. And it's super simple to put an order through as well. And just to point out, guys, like, we're no sponsored. We're not getting anything for
not.
this. This was we actually Charlie reached out to James because we wanted to sort of showcase this because we've used the service. It's superb. And we think that other people should know about it because I know there's a lot of people who obviously do use it, but there's going to be a lot of people who have never heard of it, and this is their opportunity to get a wee bit of an insight into it.
And you know what? Especially for me, obviously I love my comics, but as I mentioned at the start of the show, I'm reading digitally now because it's more effective and easy for me to do it. But I've gone down the route of collecting trade paperbacks. I will move on to omnibuses, but I've said it. I want CGCs now. I kind of want the things that I'm able to buy, and it just cuts out the middleman of me having to. I mean, obviously, I've still got a stack of comics I'm going to send off myself because the excitement is still there. Like the collector in me, the completionist in me wants to do it myself. And obviously, it's going to be content for the channel when we put the video together of the process of how to do it and stuff like that. But if you're new to comics and you're like, I really like that piece, I don't know anything about doing CGC, that's kind of a given that you would go to SLABBED CRUSADERS, which I think is very niche.
I think unless you're doing it yourself, for me the other option is to go through SLABBED CRUSADERS because it takes a lot of the risk out of it, and I think what I'm going to start asking James is if I can just go pick up my slabs because he's based not too far away from myself in Northern Ireland, so I'm sure he'll love that when I put a chap in my door saying, "Why have I not got 9.8?" No, yeah. What slab? But yeah, no, I would definitely highly recommend it. And it's one of those things. It's why is nobody else doing this? Why is nobody else thought of this? So yeah, I don't think it'll be too long before you see this happening with more retailers. But obviously, James and the SLABBED CRUSADERS of the ones to obviously start this off.
And on that, talking about we as you mentioned, we're not paid to do this. We're not sponsored or anything like that. But this is kind of just to show what we've ordered already. So this is the Killer Comics Show slabbed orders, what myself and Andy have ordered already. So obviously, Andy, you've got 4 on there that you've ordered.
Yeah, so Alien is what I've just showed you. I've got the Bichello Spider-Man Miles Morales. I've got the Sean Alexander Joker on the right-hand side. And you'll see those two covers are predominantly black covers. So it's going to be tough to get a 9.8. But again, you know, you're throwing your bets in for 37, 38 quid that you'll get a 9.8. And then I know that both myself, me and you have went for that Jenny Frislin cover because it'll display lovely in a 9.8. Then I think you've went for a couple other ones. Is that right?
Yeah, so today, obviously, it came out. So I've gone for the Disney Villains Scar, which is by Dynamite. And this is the cover A by Lindsay. And then I've gone for the Matina cover. I think it is. I'm just looking now. I think it's the Joker Duo one, is it?
Deadly Duo. Yeah,
the Deadly Duo one. Where is it? It is Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 7, cover C by Matina. So these are, again, I've looked at these. I loved Lion King growing up, and this is a fantastic cover. And for me, I wouldn't send that off because I want to take the risk because it's predominantly white. I think there's gonna be marks in it. So if I can, as you said, hedge my bets and get someone else to do it for me and kind of win-win situation, it's a given. It's an absolute given.
Yeah, all that hard work is taken away from you. They do it all for you, and I think as time is progressing, I think James is sort of updating the website and the tracking availability and stuff like that. Because I don't think it was working too well, but I think he's working on it and he's nearly there, where you can keep tabs on it, see exactly what it is, and they keep the communication open as well. So they let you know when it's received, they let you know what the grade has been, and then they contact you to say, look, do you want me to send this? You can either say, yep, send it now. They send you a link to pay for the extra few quid for PayPal for the delivery, or you can just say no, stack it and get them all sent at the same time. So I'll probably do that with the ones that I've got waiting for me. I'll just wait until the last ones arrive and then get them all sent at the same time.
It does make sense, but yeah, massive shout out to the SLABBED CRUSADERS. If you haven't checked them out already, do go over. Don't just take our word for it. Just try one, send a comic off. Sean did ask, what's the time scales for these guys roughly?
As soon as you're ordering through FOC, so FOC is normally about 3 to 4 weeks before the actual comic comes out. So what I would imagine is happening is and it makes sense financially because James isn't buying or hedging his bets and buying 100 of a cover and then send them all. He's only sending out maybe what he's actually ordered plus maybe 20-30% to cover those 9.8s. So you're talking as soon as the cover is available as New Comic Book Day, he'll be sending those as a batch to CGC. And then obviously, as you know, Sean, it's the same with any book that you send out. You're at the whim of CGC. And when he gets them all back, you'll see an update on the tracking. And then it'll tell you what the grade is. If it's 9.8, then it's a case of, right, job's a good one. If it's not, then obviously, depending on what option you've went for, you can have that discussion whether you want to get 15% back and keep the slab, or whether you want a full refund and they keep the slab.
He did actually post something on Facebook the other day saying about, like, CGC sent him a message saying that the way that they're looking at the grading and everything now is that if there is a fault with it, like example, say 15 of them come back and 9 of them are 9.8s and the rest have got like Newton rings or anything like that. Like, I think we all know that Newton rings technically aren't classed as a fault. It's not classed as that, but he said in his message is that from CGC, if it's extreme, like if there's extreme Newton rings, they will take it back and they will rehold it and stuff like that. For me, Newton rings are an absolute nightmare. Like, I think obviously you being one of my close mates, I've got some back and offline I've been like, are you actually having a laugh? Like, one of the covers is covered in Newton rings. But the risk that I have is that I wouldn't want to send it back because knowing my luck, it would come back and it wouldn't be a 9.8 again.
Yeah. I think Newton rings definitely, once you see them, it's very hard not to see them on a book. And I think they're just as bad as having, hairs or anything like that in the slab. I think anything that detracts from you looking at the cover and enjoying it is a bad thing. But again, it's going through that level that James is checking them all before he'll send them out, because it's his reputation. It's obviously word of mouth as well is what's going to make people go to this website. And we're talking about it because we've received such good service. And I've no doubt that people off the back of this will go and check out the website, which I've just dropped a link in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously we can't go without a shout out to Hobgoblin's Hideaway. Again, we're not paid to do this. We're just literally shouting out the examples of the good work that's been put out there for all of us comic lovers and collectors lovers. So yeah, why not head over to Hobgoblin_Hideaway at Whatnot. They got the Vault show, they got the Facebook group, they've got the Hobgoblin's Hideaway on Instagram, and then they've also got hobgoblinshideaway.co.uk, a fantastic website as well. So yes, head over there and tell Lucy and Tim that the guys at the Killer Comic Show sent you. Boom.
Boom.
And we're here already. Look, it's the Killer Comic Show sneak peek for next week. So the 3 comics we've got up are, Andy, I kind of just took a liberty and thought you're going to go with Clear, wouldn't you? You was going to go with Clear.
Am I that predictable? No, you're absolutely right. I've went for Clear issue number 1, Scott Snyder, Francis Manipal. If you've not read it, guys, go and give it a read. That's all I'm going to say.
Tom, I assumed, would go for Predator because he's still Mr. Marvel. And Predator number 1, I would actually quite like to read that as well. But then also, my main man was doing Black Tape issue number 2. So I was like, why the hell would I not pick that? And if you haven't read that yet, it's absolutely fantastic.
Dan the Man Pan is seeing an AWA upshot, 2 of our friends. What can, we had to.
So, absolutely amazing. Great stuff. So yeah, they're the 3 covers that will go up after the show, and the vote will then close on Monday. So it gives us a chance to read the comic of choice. We're here already. Should we take a little peek over to YouTube and find out who won? So let's have a quick look. So Andy, in last place with 8% of the vote is Mr. Chris Bell. In 3rd position, or in joint 2nd, is myself and Tom with 29%, and just nipping it with an additional 5% is yourself with 34% of the vote.
That was a close vote. That was close.
Very close vote. Very close vote. It was good. It was good. It was good. I think the fact that you had 3 covers in one.
I was cheating a little. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
It just pipped it, mate. But yeah, that's it. That was you and Tom are neck and neck now, and I'm pulling behind, but I will be there. I will be there. I'll slowly come out of my cave. Don't you worry about that. Okay. And then obviously a bit more housekeeping. Feel free, if you don't already, to head over and check out us at Instagram and Twitter. You've got myself, Geeky Comics. You've got Andy, Mr. Perpetual Comics, and you've got Tom, Not Quite Min, and he's also got a personal training. Or he might do personal tailoring as well. He might, as he's getting you fit, he might be doing you a suit fitting as well. But yeah, head over, check us out, and then also on the Killer Comics Show as well on Twitter and Instagram, because we do appreciate every single one of you that spend your time with us every single week, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yes, Andy, it's another show down. Another week has gone. Another Thursday night of fun, frolics, and
all those other words that you can't think of. No, it has. It's been another fantastic show. Unfortunately, Tom couldn't make it. He was called out on fire service. So stay safe, Tom, and we will hopefully have Tom on next week. All going well. But it was nice to see a few of the regular faces in the chat. So please, guys, if you did enjoy it, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and get somebody else to come who's maybe not watched this before and come and subscribe as well, because it would be nice to get to 1,000 at some point.
Back to the lady cave. We're definitely clipping that. We have to. We got to.
I wish I could say I was embarrassed, but what can I say? It is what it is.
And if they're, what's ABC saying? I got off the pot and posted my first IG post in 11 weeks, guys. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Great show. Thank you very much. And I will give a massive shout out to the chat. And if you do want to get involved in the killer covers for that week, please do send them through to us. Either drop it on Instagram, post it on the story, hashtag the Killer Comic Show. We'll get it on and we'll show it. We'll have a bit of fun and we can kind of just add you to the scoreboard, and it becomes like a bigger experiment where no one wins anything. But why not? Everyone gets involved, and that's it. It's your show as much as ours. So
it's taking part, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
It is.
We didn't do an Ask Me Anything segment this week.
You know what? So I was thinking about this when I was putting the slides together, and I actually think we should do the Killer Comic Show questions from the public. I think we should do that. Let's do it. Let's go for it next week. If this is, I'm going on a whim here. Andy doesn't know I'm going to say this. If there's anyone on here that wants to send us any questions on our Instagram account, and we'll highlight them in the chat and then we'll answer them. Why not? It's a bit of a just fly by night, and let's have a look. Let's go with it and see if it works out. No one might message. It might not happen.
Yeah, I like to live. I like to, off the cuff. You didn't know what you were going to get. Leon saying that he's got a lot of questions. So Leon, before we leave, just for you,
just do one.
What's your top question for me and Charlie?
Go on, mate. One question. It's all going to flood in now, isn't it? Go on. Ask Andy. Go on.
Leon's like quickly typing, going right. Okay, what's the most?
I bet he's like, I've got to go now. Bye.
Yeah. You hang up. No,
you hang up. It says Leon is typing. There we go.
It won't be complimentary. Oh my goodness! Oh, what have we done? Go on, hit us with it.
Are we getting it this week, or are you going to leave us in suspense for another week?
I think maybe Leon's one of those one finger typers.
Oh,
wait till next week. Okay, we'll look forward to next week.
Right, guys. Anyway, it's been fantastic. Thank you for staying with us for nearly an hour and a half. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy what you're reading. Andy, anything else?
No. Stay safe, stay sexy, be kind to everybody, and we will see you next week.
See you later. Ciao. Peace.
See you later.